It's the great cosmic river. I've been talking a bunch about Fibonacci and Phi and how we're on this cosmic vibration that's getting closer and closer to that central point. But what does that really mean in your life? How can you do anything with all this stuff that's been going on the cosmic level in your life? But think about when I talk about that yellow line on the road and Fibonacci swerving back and forth and coming back closer and closer to Phi. That middle line, that's your walk. That's what the Lakota would call the red road, or in Zen Buddhism they would call the middle way. You know, you don't want to be falling off on either of the sides. This middle way is the way to God, the path of the path, and everything else pulls you from side to side, and it's the pendulum, and it goes from extreme to extreme. And even on my own journey, you know, I took such an extreme and traveled for all those years without money and completely in that, and not out in this other world and unable to function in the concrete computer world. And now I'm swerving back over where I was so far into the computer world before that, and now I'm swerving back and finding you guys are experiencing that journey of coming back in closer and closer and closer to that middle way, and what my relationship with all these things are. So you think of also the cosmic river, and you can go with the flow. You can be in the flow state and letting the river take you where it's going. You could get caught in an eddy on the side for a while and stagnate, but maybe it's still you're there for a purpose, and you'll eventually work your way down through however it goes, and you'll still end up getting to that point. And you'll merge with bigger and bigger flows of energy, of understanding, of spiritual knowledge, and you'll journey and get closer and closer. Maybe you'll end up in a pool that feels like it's the end, and you can float and you can coast. Maybe you're in these rapids and you felt like you were desperately clinging on to that rapid for survival because you couldn't get washed away with the flow, and you were in this turmoil and you just clung so tight to that turmoil. But then when you let go of that, you tumble a little bit in that turmoil, but then you find yourself floating and not having to make decisions of, you know, struggle and strife, and you find your way, and then eventually you get out to the end of that, to where you can just completely relax in sun. And you think of these mountain rivers, if they float uphill to the ultimate source of light on the top of this, say a pyramid with an eye, or whatever it was that you were traveling up to. These rivers connect, and different spiritual paths connect, and you may have this one that has a guidebook that millions of people have followed, or you have this one that's just traveling up through the leaves, and all these paths, these rivers, they all unite at the original source, the end of the beginning of the destination and the journey. And once they get there, then you just pop open your sail, because you've learned how to navigate with that flow of energy, and the entire world is yours. You are the universe is yours. Step into the hero's journey.